You directed me to something, or a couple things really fast in terms of like images. You know, let me say this about that. Right, this is what it brings to mind, and it further to what we said. One of the things that we people really supported the idea that Obama will be diplomatic with other countries, that we had this a type of leader before that was not was that were going it alone. These things that the main thing that Obama would sort of like be bringing to things, people accused him of having doing what the way he went, doing sort of something to sort of smooth things over. That, I mean, they saw it in abstract ways, but that he would be diplomatic with the different countries. We could sit down and talk. What's interesting, or what's not frightening, but what's like interesting, that it doesn't factor into any of this. And in addition to the fact that, like, I don't know who opposes healthcare, wants to repeal a bill because it has problems. But here's the thing, especially when so many 40 million people, some of them children, will be able to get healthcare. But wait, when he met with the new leader of Iran and with China and with leaders in the European Union, so what kinds of things were probably discussed, right? I mean, what kind of things could you imagine discussed? And I'll tell you something. First of all, like, China's always accused by like badly ignorant people in our country. They say, well, they think they manipulate their currency, is what it is. They know what they're doing, is what it is. But here's the thing, right? What I could you picture it, like what goes on when such people like meet for their private discussions. Leaders, the first time since 1979 we have sitting down diplomatically with the new leader of Iran. Right, you could picture it. One of the main concerns of all the leaders would say Obama, right? You know, it's certainly Iran and a bunch of other governments. Some in Europe have an interest for a variety of reasons. Some economic, mainly economic in their interest, but for other reasons too. Want the reserve currency to be switched to the euro, and want oil denominated in euros. Be a major shift that would wreck our economy. I'm sure what would happen in a diplomatic meeting is we want to apologize for the attitude of the last president. No, what would be going on is, right, the new Iranian leader, and certainly leaders in the EU, would be saying, like, how we it's your currency. If you can you explain why your parliament, your Congress is they're going to harm the U.S. economy in this way because they don't want people to have health care. They threatening to shut down the government. Like, this kind of economic behavior would indicate that we should sit down and talk. We are going to be talking, President Obama, about, it's no longer safe to have the dollar as the reserve currency. Right, and he would have to say, I wish I could do a Jedi mind trick and like make this our Congress different and our people different. I know, all enlightened people know, right? This kind of threatening the U.S. economy like this would indicate it's no longer safe to have the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency. But I will be making a speech and begging my Congress not to do this. Right, that's a number. He could have mentioned having sat down, for diplomatic meetings with the new leader of Iran and the European leaders in the EU and China. He could have mentioned it in another speech or not mentioned it. Okay, but he mentioned it at the beginning, I imagine, for that reason, for people who are enlightened to say, "Oh God," we're reminded of how dangerous this is and what it says about the kind of personalities in our Congress. I mean, like I said, they must not live in reality, but we can't have a Congress like this anymore. I mean, we can't. By the way, the fact that no Democratic senators mentioned this either, they must be they must think they're in a poker game too, to not mention it. I mean, that's very frightening to think about. But I'm sure that, I mean, that's, among the things that were probably discussed, with the new Iranian leader,